All right, everyone, thanks for being here this morning. The Blue Raiders will take on Liberty on Tuesday. The game will be at 6 o'clock, and it'll be on CBS Sports Network. As a reminder, for those that are on Zoom, if you have a question, just please remember to raise your hand, and then we'll get to you. But to get things started, we'll bring up head coach Rick Stockstill, and then our student-athletes will follow.
Thank you, AC. Appreciate you guys being here. And, again, got another good opponent we're playing. They're undefeated. It's a good football team. Statistically, they're the best in the conference in just about every statistical category, from total offense, total defense, scoring offense, scoring defense. They're going to come in and run. Well, not come in. They're going to run the ball, try to run the ball, establish the running game. So we got to do a really good job at the line of scrimmage. We got to do a good job of tackling. Their back is really good. Their quarterback does a really nice job of running the ball also. So it's a really run first type offense, but he's done a really good job throwing the ball also. They're throwing for about 220 yards a game. They got good receivers. They got good skill on the outside. Got tight ends that are really good in the run game as well as the pass game. So it's a really balanced offense. It presents you a lot of problems. So we've got to have a great week of practice and preparation with that. And then defensively, like I said, they don't give up a lot of big plays. It's hard to move the ball on them. People aren't scoring a lot of points on them. So again, it's a really sound defense, and they're solid in the kicking game. So it's another good football team we're playing. But I'm excited about our team and where we're at and the opportunity to go up there and play. So open it up to you guys.
Coach, to start things out, this is the first time in 4 games that y'all have, the full 7 days in between games. What did it feel like to get back to a schedule that while a little different, it still gives you time to get a full day's rest and day off for everybody?
Yeah, and they've had a day off. We've given them a day off there the last couple weeks. We've lost a day of practice doing that, but we've played 4 games in 18 days, and so having this week where would we play La Tech on Tuesday? We met Wednesday and talked about the game, and then Thursday was their day off, and today we'll practice. So it's good to have a full 7 days, even though it is still this midweek stuff. But, these guys, these midweek games, like I've said all along, it's taking a toll on guys and physically, because it's a lot of games in a short period of time. So having 7 days, this week, hopefully it'll help our guys, give them a little extra time to get their bodies back a little bit. So it's, still it feels good. We're 2 days, 3 days into it, but I'm glad we've got a full 7 days.
You mentioned the run-first mentality of the Liberty offense, but when they do pass the ball, they've tended to pass it vertically. How difficult is it to defend a passing offense that has that vertical element when they are so strong in the run game as well?
Well, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take their shots, and like I said, they've got good skill on the outside. You just have to be disciplined. Again, do your job. Whatever it is on the back end, do your job, and we got to try to get pressure on the quarterback. They don't give up a bunch of sacks. But we've got to try to get pressure on him and make him uncomfortable as much as we can. But the same thing, we haven't seen anything, that's what teams want to do. Most teams, just like La Tech, want to take shots, down the field. People are going to do that, and so you just got to be disciplined on the back end and try to get pressure on the quarterback where the ball comes out a little bit faster than what he likes.
How different is what they do in their option game from a traditional, like the old Georgia Tech option?
Yeah, I mean, so there's probably a lot of the same principles, Chip. They're in the shotgun every snap doing it. They do a lot. They do a really good job with their personnel groupings. With their tight ends, they'll bring receivers in, to add another blocker. But they do a good job. I'm sure there's a lot of similarities between it, but it's option football out of the gun.
You always talk a lot about how explosive plays, turnovers, that kind of thing. Last week you won both of those. Just kind of reiterate that point a little bit about the importance of explosive plays in general and how they affected last week.
Oh, it was a huge impact. Actually, we lost the explosive plays. They had 9 and we had 8. It's hard to consistently go 5, 6, 7 yards, 12, 15 play drives and score. And, because the more times you snap the ball, the more opportunities the defense has to make a play. So you got to get bigger plays. You got to get chunk plays, and did a really nice job with that. Obviously everybody's going to talk about, Nick's throw to Holden, the long one there for the touchdown, but the 29-yarder to Elijah, for a touchdown. Terry Wilkins had a 20-yard run. We had other plays in there also that when you get a big play, it puts the defense on their heels a little bit, and then you can control your tempo and your momentum offensively. And then, takeaways, turnovers are most of the time the number one telling, statistic, in determining the outcome of a game. And, they're going down, they're driving down, and, you look at it, they got whatever it was, 1st and goal on the 2, they jump off sides, and now it's on the 7 or 8, whatever it was. Instead of now being able to possibly run the ball, puts them more in a predictable play call situation. And, they sprinted out, and, Trey made a great catch, a great play on it, because the ball was way behind the receiver, and really it was behind Trey too. And, he just made a really, really great athletic catch, on it, which ultimately took 7 points off the board, and then we come down on that drive and score. So kind of a 14-point turnaround right there. So, and then I talked to our team the other night, or Wednesday, about that middle 8. We scored. Nick scored right there at the end of the half. We stopped them. We score, so we win the middle 8 14-0. And the momentum that creates is a great shot in the arm for your team. So turnovers or takeaways, we haven't gotten as many as you'd like this year. But we're close. We're getting closer every game, and we'll start getting more and more. But that was a huge play that Trey made, in that game, especially, because what would that have been, a couple-point game at that time had they scored.
A player you mentioned after the game on Tuesday night was Richard Kinley, who fought back from some ankle injuries that he's been dealing with this year to be able to play. What can you tell us about Richard's character that he's grown over his time? I think it's his 5th year in the program, and what he's been able to do as a Blue Raider.
Yeah, I'm proud of Richard, and Richard had great character when he got here, and he's a great man, great young man. He's worked extremely hard. He got hurt in camp, where he missed most of camp. So he fought through that, and then coming back, he got hurt. He didn't practice last week until Monday, the day before the game, and I asked him if he could, can you protect yourself? And because he wanted to play, and I said, can you protect yourself? And he said, we got to get this game, and he said yes. So really proud of him, and all these guys nobody's 100% healthy, but some of them are worse than others, and they still go out there and battle and compete through it. So Richard has gotten better as a football player. He's gotten a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger in his time here, which has enabled him to be more successful at his position on defense. But I have a lot of respect, for Richard and how he's handled his business. Since he's graduated, he's done everything right. He's a leader in the community. He does a lot of community service stuff that nobody knows about. So I think the world of Richard, and he's a good football player, but a better man.
Anything else, Coach?
That's good. Appreciate you. Have a great day today. Great weekend.
All right, it's now time for our student athletes. We got quarterback Nick Vadiato and safety Trey Fluellen, and we'll get started with Nick.
Nick, I'm going to start with a question from Cecil, who cannot join us in person today, but he passed along to me. How important is the momentum y'all have going into this game, and particularly this game for y'all having a shot at making a late season run where you're still in that Conference USA title picture, thanks to some of the unique circumstances of the conference this year?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I think like Coach Stock said, and kind of like also like what Rich told him. We really needed that one versus La Tech, and we got it. We played well in all phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. So I think when you have a game like that, you create a sense of confidence. Not that we didn't have one. Unfortunately, in previous weeks, our hard work just wasn't paying off. But we played a solid, clean game versus La Tech, and it did pay off. And I think now, obviously we'll practice today. So starting today, you have to get back to work, and it's not, just because you win one game doesn't mean all of a sudden you start doing start not working as hard or doing things different. You got to have the same drive and kind of work ethic as if as any other week. Liberty's a really good team, so we have to bring our A game. But it's definitely coming off a win. There is like a feeling of more confidence within yourself, just because you just went out there and we proved to ourselves that we can win and we can play against teams in this conference who are very good, and we can play well and we can come out victorious. So it's just about kind of doing what we do every single day, and it starts today in practice.
Liberty, I think, is giving up only 13 points a game to Conference USA opponents this year. What do they do so well defensively that's made them a challenge to be scored on this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is when you watch them on film, like they're just great football players, and they play as a unit. D-line is really solid. They have great players on the D-line. Same with the linebackers. They have really smart and instinctive linebackers, whether it's in the run game, in the run fits, or if it's dropping back in coverage, or even if they have to man up at times. And then their secondary is very athletic. They make plays all over the field. They have great skill on the back end, very athletic, fast. They play the ball in the air very well. So, I mean, listen, like they're not 6-0 for nothing. It's hard to win in college football, and to win your first 6 games of the season, like it's impressive. It means you're doing something right, and they are doing something right, and that's why they haven't let up many points. And like credit to them, because they're a really good team with really good players, but that doesn't mean that we have to necessarily change anything we do. At the end of the day, we're gonna be us, and that's what we have to do, and we just have to do that to the best of our ability, and we'll be good.
Holden, after the La Tech game, shared that when he's in that sort of like H-back type position on the offensive line, he heard the guys on the line communicating a lot more in that particular game. I just want to know your thoughts on that extra communication and how it paid off in that game in particular last week.
Yeah, I think for sure it was probably one of our if not their best O-line's best performance all season. Both run blocking and pass blocking. Obviously, the running backs had really good game, and I was able to sit back there and kind of just go through my reads, which is super nice, and credit to them because they worked their tails off for it. But yeah, I mean, I think as an O-lineman, communication is key. And I know I remember one specific clip on the film from the La Tech game where I think we were running like inside zone, and La Tech kind of brought like a gut X blitz, and Keelan and Wilson like passed it off perfectly and on like a zone run scheme, and that's like really, really hard to do. And you see them kind of pass it off while still like being able to move people, like that's really impressive. So when you get guys who are smart, but also have the skill to kind of be able to do it on the field versus guys who are very good at what they do on the defensive side of the ball is really good. And I think, communication as a whole was very good. I think I took a couple sacks, but they weren't because we weren't protected. They did a good job on the back end a couple times. And, I mean, listen, I was super proud of them. They did a heck of a job. And, even when, same thing goes for Holden and the H-backs and the running backs when they're in there. They have to communicate the same way if we're ever changing something, or if Wilson's making a call based off what the D-line or the linebackers look is. So it was really good, and I think it paid off, and I think we saw that on Tuesday.
You guys do a lot of work in the summertime without coaches around. Did you see what we're seeing out of Elijah, Justin, Holden in the summertime?
Without a doubt. I mean, I've seen, especially with Elijah, since we kind of came in together, I've seen it since the day we got here. His work ethic, his drive to get better, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the weight room, whatever it is. And then I just think it's like the openness we have with each other as players to like talk about different things, especially, quarterback to receiver relationship. Like if you're getting this kind of look, maybe do this instead of that, talk about different releases off the line. I remember Justin was talking to me a lot throughout the game about how the La Tech corners were playing him. They kind of started playing him heavy outside leverage, so a couple of his go balls he actually took inside releases. And then, as the game kind of went on, they started playing more head up to inside, so he started taking more outside releases. And I think it's just a communication factor that you start to build with those guys that like starts in the spring and the summer, and that kind of builds trust and chemistry. And then you're able to go out there and just execute plays at a high level versus man, versus zone looks. I think Elijah's so good at that. And I know I've said it before, Coach Stu sometimes might not necessarily love maybe like the freelancing that Elijah does sometimes, but in those zone coverages, he has such a good feel of like when to sit down in a zone and when not to. And it's the reason he gets open all the time, and that's why he's been having one heck of a season, and I know he'll continue to keep doing it.
Anything else for Nick? Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
You guys have a unique challenge with the offense that Liberty runs. What are those challenges, and how do you face those head up?
Just go at them. We there's nothing that we haven't seen. First off, I mean, we played the best of the best, and like Nick said, they're doing something right. So, like I said, there's nothing that we haven't seen going against SEC schools to everybody else. I would say that for the most part, they like to run, take shots, and that's what we went against last week, the week before, and we'll keep going against that. So, for the most part, just doing what we do and coming out and attacking. I will say this is the time that we understand that it's do or die. We're hungry, so we're gonna come to work every day. Doesn't matter.
Tyrell Rabies, put together a couple, big games in big spots. I think he had 3 pass breakups last week. How have you seen him emerge, in the secondary for you guys since coming in this summer?
Hey, that boy been doing that, man. That ain't nothing new. Everybody's asking me, how's he doing it? What's he doing different? He been doing the same thing since he got here. When he got here, we noticed his footwork and all that stuff, and just his maturity level, and being able to come in with the guys and get to know him real quick. So that, like I said, that ain't nothing new. I expect that from him. Goes to work every day, so ain't nothing I'm shocked about. He's gonna keep doing that, and him and T. Ross and everybody else back there, everything that you see coming their way, they're gonna challenge it. So.
You mentioned T. Ross, coming back from injury last week. Defense has had a lot of guys either, playing through stuff or getting back, as quick as they can. How important is that, for team cohesion to have those guys that want to get back and play for each other?
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna be healthy right now, 100%. So we have an understanding of that. They set us up for massages and taking care of our body, getting in the tubs and doing all the things, practicing like a pro, and being the best that we can be. So that's the biggest part that we're focused on right now. And like I said, we're hungry. So of course those guys want to get back. They want to be on the field, with their teammates, as I did the first half. So that's all for that one.
And then, the first 7-day cycle that y'all have had in quite a while, what's it been like, early parts of this week to have something that feels a little more normal, even if the days aren't exactly where y'all expect them to be? Yeah,
we usually get a day off. So it's good to get an extra day off, and not an extra day off. We still meeting and doing everything that, we do. It's always good to, get your body back, and, obviously we're not going to get back to 100, but get close and feel ourselves again. So,
Thank you, Mr. Trey.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Trey. All right, everyone. Thanks as always. Much appreciate your coverage of the Blue Raiders. As a reminder, we will be back here doing this again on October the 30th as the Blue Raiders prepare to take on New Mexico State on November 4th. Thank you.